Police confirm a Calgary landlord killed an attacker in self-defense.
Police believe that the man had lured the woman to the residence.
Other women who work in real estate say safety is now sadly always top of mind.
At the end of the day, we are opening doors for people and putting ourselves in a bit of a vulnerable situation.
Plus, what's happening with air travel these days?
There are many inconsiderate travelers, and this one takes the cake.
A growing number of in-flight disturbances, and the majority are linked to WestJet. And never too old to play. Hockey, pickleball, you name it.
It's important to do those things, both physically and mentally.
Celebrating a super senior, and he's still got energy to burn.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We have more new details tonight in a developing story we first brought you last week. Calgary police say a woman who killed a man in the northwest community of Edgemont Friday afternoon will not be charged because she was acting in self-defense. Investigators say she was lured to the home by a man saying he wanted to view a rental property. Alicia Fieldberg joins us now. And Alicia, police say had that woman not followed her instincts and fought back, things likely would have been even worse.
Tara, police are calling this a brazen and traumatizing attack, not just for the woman, but the entire community. Moments after it happened, the woman ran to a neighbor's home for help.
I opened the door. She was covered in blood, had a knife in her hand, and was yelling and screaming. I feel awful, but I also feel very proud of this young lady for defending her dad, defending herself, and unfortunately, she'll be traumatized forever, right?
Alex Hansen says she's known the woman since she was a baby because her family used to live in the home they now use as a short-term rental unit. Now, it's a quiet neighborhood, but police filled the area just after 4 Friday afternoon. The woman in her 30s was meeting a man in his 40s to show him the rental property for a second time. They were in the basement of a home along Edgemont Court. Her father was there too, but police say he was in another part of the room when the man attacked the woman unprovoked. She fought back, then ran to the neighbor who called 911. The man was declared dead at the scene. The victim was taken to hospital in stable condition. Now her family says that she was badly beaten. Police say the killing is a non-culpable homicide, meaning the woman did not act with criminal intent or negligence.
I can say that in my experience in the homicide unit, this is easily the most clear-cut case of self-defense that I have ever been involved in. She did everything right. This is a great example of someone who is completely innocent and had to suffer a very traumatic experience at the hands of a perpetrator.
Police have identified the man killed as 48-year-old Shabazz Ahmed. Investigators say that he was known to police, but don't say how. They also don't believe that the man attacked other women, but if there are other victims, police would like to hear from them. Tara?
Okay, Alicia, thank you. Now, this attack is raising alarms about how to protect yourself, especially when it comes to real estate and strangers. For a Calgary father whose own daughter was killed while showing a home, this is particularly triggering, but he is applauding the survivor's bravery. Tyler Barrow has more.
A warrior and hero. This is how the family of the woman who killed her attacker in self-defense is describing her. In a statement to CTV News, the family says she didn't want to hurt anyone. She tried for so long to fight him off and escape, but when she was about to take her last breaths, she did what she had to do to survive and defend herself from the man taking her life. The woman in her 30s was beaten so badly she was barely recognizable to them, with her body bruised from head to toe and one eye swollen completely shut for days. She stabbed her attacker during a rental property showing. Her story all too familiar for real estate broker Jeff Buziak. In 2008, his daughter Lindsay, a realtor, was killed showing a couple a home in BC. No arrests were ever made.
I am so grateful that the woman who was showing is okay. I'm glad the attacker is dead, because they get what they deserve.
For those who make a living selling homes, it's a gut check. Realtor Victoria Dalglish does financial background checks on clients while also parking her vehicle on the street instead of the driveway.
When people are walking around the house, instead of backing yourself into a corner, you want to stay where there's a door.
She's also ready with a designated emergency contact at the touch of a fingertip and no self-defense. Diana Trang, a self-defense instructor, says it's a tool everyone should consider having. She is commonly teaching realtors, teachers, while also doing corporate sessions.
Being proactive and learning it before you actually need it. Obviously, I hope that people don't ever have to use it.
As for the victim, who used self-defense to save their life, her family says she has a long recovery road ahead, but her condition is improving. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
So the victim in this case had the unit listed on Rent Faster. In response, that rental platform advises landlords to verify identity in advance, keep communication on the platform where possible, documenting all those interactions, meet in the daylight if you can, share your location, and always trust your instincts. A Lethbridge man is charged with sex trafficking teens after police discovered 3 girls who said they'd been held against their will in his apartment. 50-year-old Sky Atoa is charged with a number of offenses, including unlawful confinement, sexual exploitation, and human trafficking. Lethbridge police officers say they found a teenage girl in Atoa's apartment in December. They say she was kept there against her will for 3 days. Police say they later found 2 more teenage girls at the apartment.
Anytime these type of incidents happen, it's concerning, and public safety has remained our #1 priority. And so making sure that these incidents are investigated thoroughly and that we involve all the appropriate resources are paramount.
Atoa is also charged in connection with a sexual assault in October involving a 24-year-old woman. He was released from custody with conditions. Police have released Atoa's photograph in an effort to encourage others who may have information now to come forward. A woman accused of killing her elderly mother appeared in a Calgary courtroom today. Police were called to Canterbury Gardens in the southwest around 11 a.m. Thursday. They found 83-year-old Sharon Helene Roberts dead inside. Her daughter, Tanya Maurice, was charged with second-degree murder. The 52-year-old made a brief court appearance today and will be back on January 27th. A man in his 50s suffered life-threatening injuries after he was hit while crossing the street in the northeast last night. He was struck in a crosswalk on Métis Trail at 104th Avenue by a woman driving a pickup truck. Police say the driver, in her 30s, was not speeding and was not impaired when it happened. They are still investigating. Water restrictions remain in Calgary for now, but the road where the rupture occurred is set to open tomorrow. Jordan Canagan has the latest on the water main break for us tonight. So, Jordan, what work is still being done right now?
Well, Tara, the city is testing water that is flowing through that repaired water main right now. When it is safe to do so, they're going to turn on the pumps from the Bears Paw treatment plant, and that is a critical point in the project. There is some good news, though, especially for commuters who take 16th Avenue Northwest. They'll have a better drive into work tomorrow. Crews completing inspections and the temporary barriers on that roadway, both directions of the road where that break happened, expected to be open by tomorrow morning. But officials are closely monitoring what is happening underneath that road. While the fixed pipe is repressurized, there's a big risk the main could be stressed and could burst again. When it's all flowing safely, that is when stage 4 water restrictions will be removed. Calgarians used 503 million liters of water yesterday. That's above what is considered sustainable. Water conservation is still needed. Now, a better timeline on when that water main will be fully restored is expected to be released by the city tomorrow.
Okay, so Jordan, as these repairs continue, council is still reviewing what went wrong back in 2024, and they would like to see some big changes.
And Tara, some councillors say that this is about accountability when it comes to both the 2 recent water main breaks and also just what led up to this happening and the neglect that Calgary's water infrastructure has experienced for 20 years or so. And some councillors actually want to see someone fired over this. Now, earlier this afternoon, there was a discussion that included a performance review of the city's chief administrative officer. Councillors also went over the recent independent panel's report that found 20 years of neglect when it comes to taking care of Calgary's water infrastructure. The report found there were failures of communication and a failure to act to ensure the city's water mains were properly maintained. And some councillors say someone needs to be held responsible.
Well, I think we've heard a lot in these reports about culture change. And if you want culture to change, then it maybe has to start at the top.
Absolutely. The expectation from Calgarians is that City Council is going to hold our city administration to account, but also to support them in providing the resources, the culture to get that work done.
Now, what that possible culture change could be is still unknown. Council went behind closed doors a couple of hours ago. They're still behind there. They were supposed to break for dinner. They have now voted in favor of working right through dinner behind closed doors, and after that, we'll see what action is taken. Tara?
Okay, Jordan Canigan at City Hall. Jordan, thank you. Let's get our first peek at the forecast now. Danielle joins us. If you thought today was nice, wow, just wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, on track to break a record tomorrow. And today, it looks like we tied a record for warmth in the city. So the record for this day is 12.3 degrees. We got up to 12.3 degrees. This does have to be confirmed by Environment Climate Change Canada because I have to check out all the numbers of the day. So I'll keep you posted on that tomorrow. 5 degrees right now. We did, again, get to 12.3. So we were in the double digits. We had gusts just over 40 kilometers per hour today. Tomorrow, we're looking at 50 kilometer per hour gusts. So that little bit of extra wind will go a long way in increasing the temperature. You're looking at 9 degrees in the morning when off to work and school, getting up to 15 in the afternoon, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Well, Calgary is leading the country in flights disrupted by unruly passengers, with WestJet involved in nearly 60% of incidents last year. That's according to the latest federal data, which shows the costly consequences of such delays. Mark Villani has more on how airlines are responding and why some say harsher punishments are needed.
It was supposed to be a relaxing vacation from Montreal to Paris, and then it wasn't.
The captain said, some of you might be noticing that we are dumping fuel, and we had to take an emergency landing in St. John's.
Calgarian Tony Martins was a passenger on that Air Canada flight. He says an intoxicated man was removed from the aircraft and RCMP arrested him on the tarmac. A 4-hour delay led to more than half on board missing their next connection. The episode cost Air Canada more than $100,000.
Cost of the fuel, landing in another airport unexpectedly, the paying the crew. There are many inconsiderate travelers, and this one takes the cake.
Canadian Airlines reported 114 incidents of unruly passenger behavior last year, ranging from offenses like refusing to sit during landing, vaping or smoking on board, instigating fights, even inappropriate touching or indecent exposure. Calgary leads the way with 45 of those incidents occurring on flights arriving or departing from YYC. Nearly 60% of the reports also came from WestJet aircraft.
WestJet has unfortunately had a shift in its corporate culture, a shift in its training, a shift in the attitude on board, and that shows.
WestJet says it's already taking a zero-tolerance policy. Our cabin crew are extensively trained to de-escalate situations involving disruptive or unruly passengers. WestJet issues written and verbal warnings and reserves the right to suspend guests up to and including a lifetime ban.
There is no excuse to allow you back on an airplane like that.
But on top of it all, some aviation experts are calling on airlines to step up fines.
You take a 777 or a 330 airplane and you basically divert the airplane, dump fuel. That's a $100,000 job. That's a $100,000 cost. You send that bill to the passenger.
And while this Calgary passenger did eventually enjoy his trip to Paris, he agrees the consequences should be harsher.
I'm hoping he had to pay, but I'm sure it would have bankrupted him.
Mark joins us from Calgary's airport tonight. Mark, while these incidents are pretty concerning, they're actually trending down compared to previous years.
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. 114 reports may seem like a lot, but it's actually down from the 176 back in 2024, 197 in 2023, and 232 all the way back in 2022. Now, during the pandemic, Canada also saw more than 1,000 complaints for passengers that didn't comply with mask mandates. So certainly that explains some of the frustration on board that we're seeing. Still, passenger rights experts say that this is just a drop in the bucket. This is a very minuscule factor in the number of complaints that are out there for passengers. Right now, there's a backlog of more than 80,000 passenger complaints that the Canadian Transportation Agency is dealing with. Sarah.
Wow. Okay, Mark, thank you. Still to come on CTV News, a high-stakes conversation. Mark Carney makes a pit stop in Prince Rupert before flying to China to speak with coastal First Nations about a possible pipeline. And it has been a difficult and deadly flu season, but Alberta's top doctor says the worst is behind us. Those details are next. Transportation Safety Board investigators are trying to determine what caused a train derailment north of Elkford, BC. 22 rail cars filled with coal went off the tracks this morning. Fortunately, there were no injuries. A road was blocked by the piles of coal, though. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with coastal First Nations leaders in BC as federal representatives attempt to smooth over relations with Indigenous communities. Nothing major in the way of projects was announced, but it is the first time coastal nations could air their grievances about a proposed oil pipeline to the BC coast directly to the Prime Minister. Tyson Fedor reports.
BC Coastal First Nation leaders made it very clear to the Prime Minister they will staunchly oppose any sort of pipeline through northern BC.
Coastal First Nations, along with Tlaxqualams and the Haisla Nation, oppose any project that proposed to bring oil tankers to the north coast.
Prime Minister Mark Carney met face-to-face with Coastal First Nations in Prince Rupert for the first time. They discussed strengthening marine conservation while building a strong, sustainable economy. Carney also promised to fund a marine traffic risk assessment study.
Today's not a day for big announcements. Today is really about a dialogue. It's a dialogue of what's been happening in the region, the projects that have been led by the various First Nations here, the various opportunities that do exist.
PMO officials say the pipeline was not talked about, but First Nations still made their stance clear.
It's about time that Prime Minister Carney and the ministers met with Coastal First Nations. I think, prior to the discussions with Premier Danielle Smith on this pipe dream, I think it was really necessary to include many First Nations.
Last year, Alberta signed an MOU with Ottawa that could potentially greenlight an oil pipeline to BC's coast. However, there is no private sector proponent.
Hope the Prime Minister is there acting in good faith, frankly. Hopeful that, he continues to try to progress the concept and at the same time not compromise the possibility of that kind of a project moving forward by conceding a veto when one doesn't actually exist.
Premier Danielle Smith plans to submit the application for an oil pipeline to the Major Projects Office by June and wants it approved by the fall. Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Alberta's Premier met with the Prime Minister last week and pushed for expedited approvals of more pipelines.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
And Neil's back with us now. Our 5-day forecast starts out pretty spectacularly.
It sure does. Yeah, this week we're above normal, we're above freezing. This is a long-term warm stretch here with the warmest of all the days being tomorrow. Now, this comes at a bit of a price, as we know. To get this warm in the wintertime in January on the lee side of the Rockies, it comes with wind. Chinook winds. All right, so out of the west, 72 kilometers per hour is the max in Pincher Creek. This is a lot better than yesterday, and we're going to actually increase tomorrow in all communities with regards to the wind. So 56 was the max in Lethbridge today, just over 40 in Calgary and just over 50 in Medicine Hat. Let's fast forward to tomorrow here and you can see 40 kilometer per hour gusts for Medicine Hat. You're looking at 50 in Calgary, 60 in Lethbridge, and likely 80, even 90 in the Pincher Creek area. But this little increase in wind is going to certainly increase the temperature. Now, most communities got into the double digits today, still sitting there in Lethbridge at 10 degrees. Quick decline for Brooks, down to 0, losing that westerly wind. We're at 5 in Calgary, 8 in Pincher Creek, 2 in Milk River. So given the time of year, this is all still very warm, and that's not even a look at the daytime highs. All right, radar and satellite, we've had some cloud cover that's moved in the afternoon hours. That's going to clear out for tomorrow. So we're looking at mainly sunny skies. It will be dry for these next 5 days. We're not looking at any real moisture. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow, the occasional cloudy period. The only chance of getting any sort of moisture in southern Alberta is closer to the Medicine Hat area, and this is at 6 a.m. Thursday. Short-lived, nothing significant. So it's dry, it's bright, It's windy. You're looking at gusts around 50 kilometers per hour in the city for tomorrow. That will carry us up to 15 degrees. As long as we surpass 11.2 degrees, that's the record for January 14th, then yes, it's record-breaking heat for tomorrow. We're on track for that. We drop down to the lower single digits for Thursday and Friday, back into the double digits for Saturday. We'll be above freezing, though, even until about Wednesday of next week. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast.
Alberta's top doctor says the worst of an especially bad flu season is now behind us. The last month has been extremely hard on hospital staff and patients, as overcapacity has led to excruciatingly long waits and even an Edmonton death. Tim Brooke has more on what happens now and why we're not completely out of the woods yet.
Alberta's new Chief Medical Officer of Health has some welcome news.
Case counts are beginning to fall, and the number of Albertans admitted to hospital with influenza A is starting to drop.
According to provincial data, flu cases have now peaked. That doesn't mean we're home free, but it does mean the system should soon be better equipped to handle a new flu strain.
Influenza B often emerges later in the season, and while these waves tend to be smaller and associated with milder outcomes in immunized Albertans, they can still cause significant illness.
Influenza hospitalization numbers are still unusually high, and a lot of that is due to a low flu shot uptake. Currently, 74% of patients in hospital did not get immunized.
Even though the viruses are starting to abate a little bit, we're still seeing very high volumes.
Those on the front lines are still worried about Alberta's emergency departments and their sky-high wait times. Many tell CTV News they blame the government's AHS restructuring, saying it's led to poor communication around patient discharges and internal organization.
That's what we've kind of lost a little bit in the restructuring, and hopefully we can get some coordination back.
Patients feel the stress too.
It's really upsetting when you hear of people that are dying because they don't get the proper treatment.
None of Alberta's health ministers were made available to the media Tuesday. So we asked the Chief Medical Officer of Health what lessons can be learned and used moving forward.
That's probably a question that better goes to later this week to Acute Care Alberta.
That office is promising more capacity and 336 dedicated beds for respiratory virus season. Questions about the timing went unanswered.
The Premier and the ministers should be available, should be accountable, and should be stepping up when we're in crisis. And we are in crisis.
Another provincial health update is scheduled for Thursday. Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Just ahead, they have been waiting years for provincial support. We'll meet an Alberta family who needs access for their disabled daughter. They applied in 2023, and they aren't the only ones on a long list. And the Canadian series that has fans everywhere talking about hockey and the LGBTQ plus community. Firefighters were called out to a small explosion at an encampment in the southwest last night. The Calgary Fire Department responded to Earl Grey Crescent around 6:30 p.m. They found flames in a wooded area. Crews had to run hoses through the trees to put the flames out, but no one was hurt. In Lethbridge, firefighters were busy with a big grass fire today. It scorched an area in the River Valley near the Lethbridge Country Club. Police closed a nearby road for about an hour as a precaution. There was another fire last night, too. A fire ban is now in effect for the River Valley due to the warmer temperatures, strong winds, and low humidity. A Calgary father is bringing awareness to the years-long wait for access to the province's Children with Disabilities program. And he is not alone. Inclusion Alberta calls the gap in care a silent crisis that needs to be fixed. Here's Jacqueline Wilson.
Carl Visser's 4.5-year-old daughter Olivia has Rett syndrome. It's a rare genetic neurological disorder that causes loss in verbal and physical skills. He's been waiting since 2023 for full access to services from the provincially run Family Support for Children with Disabilities program.
Some of the things that I would like to see is, the speech therapy or the physical therapy. Honestly, the reason why I do this is so that I can hear my daughter say, "I love you," at least once in my lifetime.
The province stopped providing data on wait times in 2021, but Inclusion Alberta's latest report estimates that families are waiting 3 to 4 years before accessing the full range of services. CEO Trish Bowman calls it a silent crisis.
So we know there are thousands of families waiting, with no real understanding of how long they will wait. And we have said before, these are critical developmental years for children that they never get back.
Bowman says funding for the program has increased, but not proportionally to inflation or population growth, and social worker caseloads have decreased.
Families are really lost and really left, honestly, in the lurch. And we're hearing from families all the time who are really desperate for support.
Minister of Assisted Living and Social Services Jason Nixon would not agree to an interview, but in a statement, his office said they've increased funding to the program and that demand remains high because of population growth and an increased prevalence of disabilities. The province didn't answer our questions about the wait list.
These are investments in children and families that will make Alberta strong. And to fail to do that is really a failure that we will live with for generations.
As for Carl Visser, he won't stop fighting for proper resources for Olivia and hopes others will also reach out to various levels of government to enact change. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
Still to come, when push comes to shove, this tiny deer stands his ground, even when confronted by a much larger opponent. Our trending videos are next. Heated rivalry has become a phenomenon around the world, and it's firing up fans here in our city too. The Canadian series tells the story of two rival hockey players who fall in love. As Stephanie Thomas reports, the same-sex romance is pushing a much-needed conversation about sexuality and sports.
How much pressure do you feel from the fans, from the hockey world in general?
Heated rivalry is sizzling. The Canadian show about rival hockey players turned lovers has amassed huge audiences internationally since premiering on Crave in November. Now its stars are heating up Hollywood, hinting to the Golden Globes crowd about what has fans in a frenzy.
What? You know.
One of the contributors to a project called YYC Queer Hockey History says the show has tapped into a taboo part of professional hockey.
And I think we've seen more openness in women's hockey. But in terms of men's hockey, I'd say the conversations have largely been invisible.
He adds the show's success is celebrating the somewhat lesser-known link between the LGBTQ community and the hockey world.
It really is resonating because people are finally seeing themselves in ways that they haven't before in a sport about which they're really passionate.
The series is based on a book inspired by current NHL stars and is flying off the shelves at Calgary's Forbidden Library.
Everyone is looking for this book, and I promise it's on its way. And then when the show came out, it blew up even more, and then I was getting phone calls every day, probably like 10 a day.
Greta Bar had so much demand for its heated rivalry trivia night, it moved the event to a larger space and may add a second night.
It will be a fun opportunity to get a lot of fans in the room, and hopefully it won't get heated though.
And Dickens Pub also plans to host at least 2 parties to celebrate.
We're entrenched in the queer community, of course. We do a lot of queer positive events here. We wanted to give some people a chance to come down and forget about their woes for a little bit and just have a good time.
The events are planned for February, the month often associated with love. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
And other books in the Heated Rivalry series are also selling fast as fans of the show can't wait to see what's next. Well, we're going to stick with hockey for a second because a very special visit may help push the Flames to victory before their game in Columbus tonight.
It's so fun to see how quick you guys are growing because you're a big girl now.
Oh, that's Calgary Flames defenseman Rasmus Andersson, along with Noah, the daughter of former Flames player Johnny Gaudreau, who died in 2024. The 3-year-old was a little bit camera shy, but she did indicate that she refers to Andersson as Uncle Razzie, and she gave him 2 lollipops during her visit.
Oh.
Andersson says seeing Johnny's family again is an absolute pleasure. They popped in for a quick visit after practice on Monday.
I love how the Flames have stayed so close to the Gaudreau family. It means a lot to them, obviously, and Rasmus Andersson's just awesome with this.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. A rhino and a very small deer had a face-off with some surprising results that seems kind of of like an unfair matchup, but video from a Polish zoo shows this tiny muntjac deer squaring up against this nearly 2-ton rhino and pretty much showing it who's boss.
Look, that deer's holding its own.
I know.
Right?
The zoo said this daring display was due to the small animal's mate being in heat and it needed to burn off some pent-up testosterone.
You're not intimidating me.
No.
It's like the rhinoceros doesn't know how big he is.
No, he's playing. His body language is all play. The little deer is
cute.
I don't know what. That's cute. Well, finally, I think I might call this karma.
Are you serious, Paul? Just take 2 trips.
Knock it off stage. I got this.
Well, seconds after being a little bit snarky to his partner, he bites it on the icy the deck there, and then double whammy.
Yeah.
She's laughing at his misfortune.
Boy.
She falls, and you can see what happens next.
Boy, oh boy.
Well,
Karma's perfect to describe it.
Yeah.
Immediate karma right there.
Oh, boy. Still to come, Donald Trump says the Kuzma trade pact is now irrelevant. We'll take a look at the fallout coming up in our business report.
Skywatch weather camera, what a lovely day. If you can handle a little bit of wind and you like the warmth, well, then you're in for something tomorrow as well. The winds will be a little gustier tomorrow, but the temperatures will also be a little warmer tomorrow, and in many cases, record-breaking heat. Speaking of record-breaking heat, close enough today. Looks like we got to 12.3 in the city, and that's the record, holding strong. That one says 1986, but I believe it's holding strong from 2004. Okay, and currently we're sitting at 5. Normal is -3. As you know, we are well above normal. Checking out temperatures at the moment, 5 in Calgary, still holding on to the double digits in Lethbridge, believe it or not. It's 3 in Medicine Hat, 8 in Pincher Creek. Here's a look at the wind gusts tomorrow. So it will be a little gustier tomorrow. 60 in Lethbridge, 80 in Pincher Creek, 50 in Calgary. So you can tack on about another 10, 20 kilometers per hour for tomorrow in many communities. 40 for Medicine Hat, Brooks, Drumheller, Banff. Your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. And to start the day off, we're looking at 9 degrees, gusts again 50 kilometers per hour out of the right direction to carry us up to about 15 in the afternoon. And again, as long as we surpass 11.2 degrees tomorrow, we break a record in the city. 8 degrees for Kelowna tomorrow, 8 for Edmonton and Red Deer as well. Further south, we have a lot of sunshine in the forecast for the day. And of course, as you can see, a lot of warmth. 4 in Coronation, but 16 in High River, 12 in Medicine Hat, and yes, a little gustier in Lethbridge, 60 kilometers per hour, and getting closer to that 80 mark in Pincher Creek with a high of 12 expected. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A woman who killed a man in Edgemont last week will not be charged. Police say she was attacked while showing a home, a rental property. Investigators are calling it a clear case of self-defense. They say she did everything right in what was a very traumatic event. New federal data shows nearly 60% of all disruptive passenger reports in Canada last year involved WestJet flights. Calgary accounts for the largest share of incidents nationwide. And some good news from the province's new top doctor. Dr. Vivian Sutorp says the surge in influenza cases has peaked. She doesn't expect hospitalizations to exceed the levels seen at the end of 2025. More than a dozen charges have been issued by Occupational Health and Safety after an employee was killed at an RV and trailer dealership nearly 2 years ago. The incident happened at Rangeland RV and Trailer Sales near Crossiron Mills in January 2024. OHS says an RV was being relocated to a storage yard when the driver lost control on a steep slope. The RV jackknifed and wound up pinning an employee who would later die in hospital. Rangeland is facing 14 charges. For the first time in days, some Canadians have been able to speak by phone to their loved ones in Iran, though internet remains cut off. This comes as regime officials say thousands have been killed in protests that have been met with brutal force. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
These are some of the images airing on Iranian state TV, which are said to show the aftermath of nationwide protests that have been met with brutal force. For the first time, authorities have given an overall death toll, 2,000 people killed, while also blaming the United States and Israel of inciting the protests.
the young one, they will participate.
Dr. Shahram Azam knows just how ruthless the Iranian regime can be. He was a doctor in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps when in 2003, the regime arrested Canadian photojournalist Zara Kazemi, who was later brought to his hospital. He says Kazemi was missing fingernails, had a broken nose, and her skull was fractured. There were also signs of rape. She later died.
There wasn't any chance it happens by accident. At least she was beaten, if not torture.
In 2005, Azam, his wife and daughter fled to Sweden and applied for asylum in Canada. In the 2 decades since he left, he's watched protests unfold in his home country, all met with brutal force. But he says these protests, happening in both big cities and small towns, feel different.
And I hope it's the end of this brutality, this regime, and these things happening to my people.
The extent of the protests and subsequent crackdowns in Iran are difficult to gauge as internet remains cut off and phone service is spotty. Protests have also spread to cities around the world, including here in Toronto, where this afternoon members of the Iranian community gathered outside the U.S. consulate. Today, U.S. President Donald Trump told protesters in Iran that help is on the way, but declined to clarify what that means.
Trump has vowed to intervene militarily on behalf of the protesters, encouraging them to keep demonstrating. While the U.S. had previously said they wanted to find a diplomatic solution, today Trump said all meetings with Iranian officials have been canceled. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
The U.S. president also commented today on the North American Free Trade Agreement that is up for negotiation this year. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez.
The U.S. president says the trade deal negotiated during his last term in office is now irrelevant. Trump was touring a Michigan Ford plant today when he spoke about CUSMA, saying we could have it or not, it wouldn't matter. The deal is supposed to be reviewed this year, but Washington called off early negotiations late last year after an Ontario-sponsored ad campaign about tariffs upset the U.S. president. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar hardly moved. It's at 72.04. West Texas Intermediate up $1.62 to 61.12. Western Canadian Select up 87 cents to 44.97. And the TSX lost 4 points today after a record close yesterday. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Crews are scrambling to finish the arena in time for the Winter Olympic Games. The NHL and its players' union have dropped by to check out the venue in Italy. We'll tell you what they think of it next. The NHL and the Players Union have seen firsthand the unfinished main rink for next month's Olympic Games. Crews are rushing to complete the arena in time for the Milano Cortina Games. The inside of the venue remains under construction, with hospitality areas and locker rooms yet to be completed. This past weekend, the league and the PA attended a test game there between Italy's top teams. In a joint statement, the NHL and the union say they were pleased with the event and they will continue to monitor progress on the remaining work. A Calgary man, Mark Messer, is in Italy to create the first indoor temporary speed skating rink. He's been working at the Olympic Oval here in Calgary since 1987, and he has contributed to 6 previous Olympics already. The Calgary Flames continue their road trip in Columbus tonight. Glenn is back with us. Glenn, the Jackets have a new face behind the bench.
Tara, the Jackets, they fired Dean Evison yesterday. They've replaced him with veteran coach Rick Bowness. And it's the Jackets who open up the scoring in this game. Dustin Wolf, the initial save. Zach Werenski scoops up the rebound. He will feed it back to Dante Fabro. Beats a screened Wolf. His third of the season, 1-0 Columbus. The Jackets back for more a little later on the first. Flames get running around. Jake Christensen. Nice feed here to Charlie Coyle. Perfect shot to beat Wolf. Jackets with a 2-0 lead. Flames looking listless in this game, and Rasmus Andersson trying to change that. Gets into a rare fight, takes on Boone Jenner, and you know what, he did pretty well. But would it spark his teammates? And the answer is yes. Later in the period, Flames power play. Michael Backlund centers in front. Morgan Frost gets the loose puck and jams it home. His ninth cuts the lead to 2-1. And then late in the first period, Flames back on the power play. Believe it or not, they score another one. Anderson wires this one past Jed Greaves, ties the game at 2. That's where we stand after 2 periods of play. Well, a trip to Ohio is going to be very special for one Calgarian next month. Gord Cowan is going into the Toledo Hockey Hall of Fame. It's hard to keep up with super senior Gord Cowan. He skates twice a week, swims, plays pickleball 3 times a week, and takes a fitness class every morning. Being active is important for Cowan, who turns 93 in a couple of weeks.
If I were just sitting around, my muscles would get so soft and I'd be weak, and the next thing you'd know, I'd either be in a wheelchair or at least with the walker.
As you can imagine, Gord is a huge inspiration to many, especially his family.
I'm so proud of him, and just trying to keep up to him is a feat in itself. He is an absolute machine. Every single day, he is active.
Cowan's favorite sport has always been hockey, and he still has some pretty good moves out there. He helped coach the UFC Dinos from 1969 to 1981.
Coaching at the university was really important to me and very satisfying. I like working with the younger people, and so I spent about 12 years there working with George Kingston.
As you can imagine, Cowan coached hundreds of dinos over the years, and some of the alumni joined him at the rink to give him this jacket, a sign of respect for a man who taught them so much.
Every player that played for Gord loved him. He was just such a great motivator, teacher, awesome athlete. So he influenced a lot of us, and more than just hockey, in life and careers and friendships.
The jacket symbolizes Cowan's time with the UFC and his time in the International Hockey League. Cowan played 8 seasons there, mostly in Toledo, Ohio. And next month, he's going to be inducted into the Toledo Hockey Hall of Fame, and most of his family will be there with him.
It'll be really something, but at the same time, I'll think about the fact that how much my wife would have enjoyed it, Toledo, because she really enjoyed it when we were there.
Cowan says his wife, who passed away, played a big part in his life. The induction ceremony will take place later this month. Quite the gentleman.
What a guy. I love that story, Glenn. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, final peek at the forecast, Danielle.
And I'm sure you love this story also.
I do, actually, yes.
Yes. All right, record-breaking warmth for tomorrow. 15 degrees should be our high. Gusts out of the west at 50 kilometers per hour. Then the temperatures tame down along with the winds for a few days, with daytime highs of 5 for Thursday and Friday. Back to the double digits to kick off the weekend. Let me show you the longer range trend here to give you an indication of how long we'll remain above freezing when we look at daytime highs, right up until Tuesday of next week. Then we'll be at the freezing mark for Wednesday, and then we'll start a decent cold stretch. Okay. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. And Diane Bach sent this in, taken near Lomond. And I don't know about you, but this is such a calming, stunning picture for me. Nice little sunset.
Yeah, the colors are beautiful.
Yeah, so Calgary weather pics at bellmedia.ca. Feel free to send in your pictures as you're out and about enjoying the warmth.
Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.